Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
We will go ahead and begin the meeting tonight at 6 o'clock, I believe. And myself, President of the Board of Trustees, has determined that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent because of the current COVID-19 pandemic disaster and associated building restrictions. Again, public access to the meeting is being provided remotely online or by phone, and any public comments can be submitted to Gina at her email for recitation into the public record during public participation. And we'll find out in a moment. And Tammy, would you like to do the, who's doing the roll? Oh, Rebecca, would you like to do the roll call, please?
Yes.
Sorry, Gina. Tammy.
Mr. Cadwallader.
Here.
Mrs. Cole.
Here.
Mr. Gross.
Here.
Mrs. Hanks.
Here.
Mrs. Humphrey. Mr. Laswell. And Mr. Sherwood.
Here. Right. Next on the agenda is public participation. Gina, are you aware of any?
I do not see any public here in our meeting, nor did I receive any emails to be recited into the meeting. So, nope.
Okay. Maybe next month. The agenda review. Does anybody have any comments, modifications to the agenda for tonight? Okay, we'll move along to the consent agenda, which involves the approval of the minutes of the March 29th regular meeting and the approval of the bills. And we need a motion.
Make a motion.
And second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion?
That's my cue, right?
It is.
Well, just about was your cue.
Okay.
I didn't hear anything. So yes, that's your cue.
Okay. I just wanted to do a little update on checks. The standard check that was listed in the list of bills was actually overpaid. When I was cutting checks for bills, I cut a check initially for the entire bill amount, not realizing that checks were already cut at each payroll. And the only check that needed to be cut at that time was to make up the difference for the retiree that is still participating. So the check for $854.60 was voided, and a new check for $28.22 was cut. The working budget has been adjusted to reflect that correction. And then additionally, the Blue Cross Blue Shield bill arrived in the mail today. So I need to cut a check to include with this month's bills for the difference of what was cut at payroll versus what is on the bill. The difference is $1,330.15, which accounts for adding me to health insurance, and for Blue Cross Blue Shield still charging us for Teresa Johnston, even though she is no longer on the insurance. They will be issuing us a credit for her.
Was that included in the addition, or not the addition, but the other packet that you sent out for the bills? Was that included in there?
No, I can send out an additional correction tomorrow if everybody would like that, showing the correct amounts in there. I can correct the working budget and send that.
These are things that have happened since you received your packet.
Yes.
Okay. We probably should have it. Do you think? I would think it.
Yeah. I'm happy to send that.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
Was I supposed to sign minutes? Because I was the secretary pro tem or something.
Once they're approved tonight, then we'll let you come in and sign them.
Yes.
Good deal.
All right. If nobody else has any questions, Rebecca, would you like to do a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Mr. Sherwood.
Yes.
Mr. Gross.
Yes.
Mr. Cadwallader.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
Mrs. Hanks.
Yes.
And nobody else joined, right?
Okay.
Nope.
Okay, motion carried. And we'll move along to the treasurer's report and Ron.
You're muted,
Sound
Ron.
off.
Okay, so I don't have anything to add over what isn't or what's already in the packet. I do know, and maybe I think Gina might want to address this here a little bit on the bond payments. Is that correct? Gina, we talked about that last week, I
I
believe.
did. I just wanted to make sure that our minutes kind of reflected what I informed you through the director's report as far as the bond levy error that was discovered. Is it okay if I take the floor, Ron?
Yeah, you can take the floor, Gina. Yep.
Okay. It was discovered the week of April 5th that the county clerk's office had assigned us a secondary bond that belonged to the park district and not the library. And we've been receiving that bond income for tax years 2017 to 2019, which totaled about $232,000. The first couple of years, I think it was around $30,000 a year, which really wouldn't throw up any red flags when I look at the total difference that they're saying we have incoming. Last year, it went up about $150,000. I did call the office at that time, but the error wasn't discovered then by the office. They just said it was how it was structured, and so I moved along. This year, I called them to get a list of future levy amounts so I could kind of do some forecasting as far as paying off bonds and things like that, since we had made some prepayments and things like that, trying to get a timeline. And that's when they discovered that they had assigned us that bond. So ultimately, after some discussion with the tax consultant in the county clerk's office, we determined that the best course of action at this time from the clerk's instructions were to reduce this coming year's bond levy by the amount that we've over-received over the past 3 years to make everything right, to mitigate that error. And then for tax year 21, which is payable 23, we'll go back to the regular schedule. So ultimately, I believe that the error, the first 2 years for 100,000, they always use like average $100,000 home. What was the effect? The first 2 years, it was like $2.21 and $2.19. And last year it was about $10. It's been discovered. We have a plan to rectify it. This year coming forward, we'll kind of mitigate all of that, and then we'll be back on our regular track. Do you have any questions for me about that?
Oh, is
No.
the
No,
park district missing money then?
I
No.
was told no. I was told, I asked, because I initially asked, like, do I owe the park, like, do we owe the park district money? And they told me no. So I've kind of left that up to them to deal with the park district at that point. That's all I know about that. I'm sorry, Colleen.
I don't think it would be a bad idea to run that by our auditors.
Okay.
Even when they come in August, just to make sure everything's kosher.
Okay, I can give them a call in the morning and explain the situation and see if there's any concerns that they have with how we're handling it. Is that what you're proposing, Colleen?
Yes,
Okay, will do.
thank you. Thank you.
Did the park get their normal amount then?
I
Or-
asked if we owed them money and I was told no. So I've left the park district levy and the county clerk's business to the park district and the county clerk.
Okay.
So will that show up on not the bill we just got? Like I got my tax bill over the weekend.
Yeah,
Was are you getting your tax, you're getting your tax bill though for tax year 21 or 20?
I don't know. I didn't look. I just look at the amount.
no, it's for 20.
For
For
20.
20.
So it should
Yeah.
be
On
adjusted
next.
No, on the one you received, I think.
Okay,
One
Like from
we
you're talking
received was
from a
last year.
resident point of view, yes?
yes,
Okay. My understand, so we reduced the library's tax year 20 bond levy to reflect the overage already collected. So if you are receiving your bill for tax year 20, which we will get this coming fiscal year 22, that is the one we reduced, and we reduced it to 277, 320 and 42 cents.
That's about what I saw. I just got mine today, and the libraries dropped, and there
Okay.
is a new park district one, actually, a very large park district portion added, but that's probably not related to this. But
It could be somewhat.
It could be, I'm not sure.
okay. I was just curious.
And that's not really our problem.
Well, this
That's
is
the
not
park
something,
district.
this is not something
That's-
we did, no.
Right. And that if the park district didn't get what they had coming through bonds, that's not our problem.
That is between them and the county clerk's office.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I'm not sure if that, I'm not even sure if that was a problem, honestly. I just kind of focused on the library.
As you should.
Thank you. When I call the auditor tomorrow and get their opinion on all that, I will send everyone here an email.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's if there are no other questions about that
Okay.
situation, that's just kind of what I wanted discussed and reflected in the minutes,
Okay.
that it happened and discovered and fixed. So
Yeah, that was a good idea, Colleen. So I'm sure we'll hear. Okay, does anybody else have any other questions? Then, okay, we'll move along to the director's report.
my report was in your packet. It's kind of a longer one this month. I don't have a ton to add to it, but I did want to call out something. And I'm going to read it because I wrote it, and that's the only way I'm going to get through it. So, hold on. Okay. After 39 years of service to Fondulac Library, this is Tammy's last board meeting. I'm a fool. I'm sorry. I wanted it to be read and recognized that Tammy has long worked closely with the board and director to see this library through many, many changes. Excuse me a second. Personally, to me, her assistance and her insight have been invaluable, and I've so enjoyed working with her. I want everyone to know that I and the library are truly fortunate that she has chose to share her time and talents with us. So Tammy, on behalf of our staff and our patrons, best wishes to you, and please enjoy all that lies ahead. I hope I'm in the book now.
Thank you. You're gonna make me cry. I've really enjoyed my time here. I really have. I've enjoyed working with all of you. I've enjoyed getting to know all of you. Some of you, Colleen, I've known for, oh my God, years.
Since you were in high school.
So it's been a pleasure, and I will miss all of you. Maybe I'll pop into a board meeting now and again and see how things are going. That I can sit back and relax.
And maybe you might give some thought to joining the Friends group.
You know, they were in today.
Buttering her up.
Mention that.
Okay.
They mentioned that right
Nope.
off. So
No pressure.
no pressure. I told them I was just gonna step back for a little bit, but and that I hope that they could have their yummy bake sale this year. I missed their bake sale. So, but thank you, Gina. I've enjoyed my time here.
I'm sorry, I didn't think I was going to melt down.
And all of you very much.
I knew I was going to
Well-
melt down later this week, but I was not anticipating melting down there. So I apologize.
Well, we know how much Tammy meant to you. She was your go-to person, and she kept quite a good set of books and was able to help you in any which way she could. So I'm sure, yeah, we will all miss you.
Thank
Does
you.
anyone,
I'm muted.
does anyone have any questions from my report? Ron's crying too. I saw that Kleenex. Okay, no questions, I guess.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. And we'll move along to the communication and correspondence, library statistics.
There were no additional communications or correspondence, and the statistics are in your packet.
All right, well, that brings us to the next item of action items. Action item 2021-0401, approval of Clifton Larson Allen as auditor. And we need a motion.
So moved.
And second,
I'll
I'll
second it.
second it.
okay. Gina, we'll discuss.
We've received our engagement letter from Clifton Larson Allen for our auditing services in the fall. Assuming the board approves it, we'll go ahead and sign off on it. Then we will schedule August fieldwork dates for them. We've used Clifton Larson Allen for several years. They're one of the few that still will do government auditing, so they're good. We've always had really good service from them, and I find that they're really thorough.
Well, and I read that lengthy engagement letters today, and it's pretty standard. So it looks good to me.
Colleen is our
How much was-
auditing expert.
How much was it last year? Was it about the same or just not quite as much? Not that we have to pay
It did not,
so,
it did not, for what it's worth, it did not go up significantly.
yeah, seems like it was about the same amount.
It may be about the same amount. If not, it sometimes goes up by a couple $100, but not large jumps. Last year was the first year that they added the technology fee. And so, and Adam did call me and kind of give me a heads up on that earlier in the year last year. Pretty much it sounded like it was kind of, here, go tell all your clients this. And so he called and let us know that. And so I think they're holding their rates a little more steady and kind of offsetting with that technology fee.
Is a vote required for this tonight or not? This is just information.
No, it is a vote. It's long been a vote because it's engaging in a contract, and it's a
Okay.
pretty high amount there. So, I mean, not pretty high,
Okay.
but it's the amount that needs to be.
Do we do it now or wait till we come out of the action items? Just do
Well,
it now?
you've motioned and seconded to talk about it. So I think unless there are other questions, you can go ahead and do your roll call if you want.
Okay, Rebecca, we'll go and do a roll call vote.
Mr. Sherwood,
Yes?
Mr. Gross,
Yes.
Mr. Cadwalader,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Mrs. Hanks.
Yes.
All right, motion carried. And we'll move to the last action item, 2021-0402, approval of the library hours. And we need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, and second,
I'll second it.
I'll second.
okay, Gary. Okay, Gina, we'll do our discussion.
Okay, so in your packet, I have put a proposal that we return to a new regular schedule effective June 1st. June 1st gives us some time to address some staff openings and hires and trainings that we're going through. We still have staff that have not been able to completely, fulfill a vaccine cycle and things like that. And gives us some notice for changes. I think at this time we can kind of go back to our regular hours, but I'm also proposing new regular hours where on weekdays, Monday through Thursday, we close at 8 instead of 9. I will say pre-March last year, pre-COVID. This was something I was already kind of starting looking at. It's pretty quiet in here after 8 o'clock at night. I had pulled some statistics pre-COVID, and you know, had looked at them, and 3 people coming in that hour, you know, maybe 10 people left. We know observationally a lot of the people who are leaving have been here quite a while at that point as well. And it just seemed after a year of shortened hours and changing schedules that if it was time to kind of readdress what regular hours look like, this seemed like the appropriate time to do it. I did put in your packet a spreadsheet of local library hours for comparison. As you can see in there, I believe, pull it back up. There have maybe one other library that is open till 9 o'clock. I did kind of call around and see as well, like, were these the hours that people were kind of eventually planning on returning to, and put a few notes at the bottom there. But even with that hour closure, you know, that closing at 8 instead of 9 o'clock at night, I feel like we're still going to be able to serve the vast majority of our patrons and do it well. And we're still a leader in library hours. Oh, that came out the wrong way. It was supposed to come out. It's really small for you. I'm sorry. The type on that is really small. I'm interested if you have questions or concerns with the proposal, what I can answer for you.
It looks like everybody on Saturday still closed at 5 with just a couple small, it looks like Dunlap.
Some are open only Saturday morning. Some are mostly open the whole day on Saturday. And I did not make any propose any changes to our Saturday hours or even our Sunday hours at this time. It would just be that 8 to 9 on the weeknights.
Anybody else have any thoughts on that? I think it's a good schedule.
Yeah, I think you pointed out in your report too that we're offering more hours than most, operational hours than most. So
even with closing at 8 on weekdays, we are still definitely a leader in library hours. Even with the change, I believe that ties, nobody close locally will have more hours. Bloomington and Normal would have a little bit more hours. I will note also they're a college town and they kind of operate on a different schedule than us. But that would still, you'll notice Chillicothe has a lot of hours. I don't fully know their plans, nor do I think it's my place to discuss them in a public meeting here. But a lot of that comes from their really early morning openings that was instated a long time ago. I don't necessarily know if that, I didn't necessarily nail down whether that was going to be their continued plan or not. So anyway.
Well, I think we have a solid schedule, a lot of hours. I'm good with it.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
All right. Is that a roll call vote too?
Yep, because we're online,
Okay.
all votes have to be roll call.
Okay. Rebecca, we'll do it one more time.
All right, Mr. Sherwood,
Yes.
Mr. Gross,
Yes.
Mr. Cadwallader,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Mrs. Hanks.
yes,
Okay. All right. Sounds like motion carried for that. And we'll move along to closing comments. All right. Well, if we'll need a motion to adjourn till our next meeting of May 24th, moving our meeting up to the May 24th day.
Yes,
And so
please
we'll
note
need
that that is a week.
earlier.
No,
Or
It's
is
still
it?
the-
Oh, it's still the 4th.
No, it is a week earlier because of Memorial Day. It is a week
Right.
earlier because of Memorial Day. I don't know why Tuesday came into my head, but yes, it is a week earlier because of Memorial Day. That being said, it is the 4th Monday because there are 5 Mondays. So
Okay.
sometimes it's really early in May. So this one's a little later and that's okay.
Okay. Need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Okay. And second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All right. Rebecca?
Mr. Sherwood,
Yes?
Mr. Gross,
Yes.
Mr. Cadwalader,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Mrs. Hanks.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carried. I guess that's about it for tonight.
Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations.
Bye. Good luck,
Bye,
Tammy.
Thank you. I'll pop in from now and again.